So forest products are broadly classified into two: wood and non-wood forest products. The wood products, you obviously know them. They include timber, furniture, poles, post, wood fuel, pulp and paper, wood composites, wood carvings, bamboo, among others. The non-wood forest products are goods of biological origin other than wood, derived from forests, other wooded land and trees outside forest, and they include gums and resins, seed oils, fruits, fiber, amongst others. The economic importance of forest products is that in Kenya, about 42% of the GDP is from natural resource-based sectors, and this is according to the Kenya Green Economy Strategy Implementation Plan of 2015. Forestry alone contributes about 36%, energy for industrial processes and domestic use, materials for building and construction, and also for environmental services. Efficiency in processing and utilization still is a challenge, and we need to look at that. So I've got a table there. A timber supply, you can see, is 7 million cubic meters. The demand is 5 million. So the difference is 2 million. So in total, if we total it, of course, there's a deficit of 10 million cubic meters of these values in 2032. So the opportunities that we could have is on firewood and charcoal, with responsibility being on processing technologies where we'll need to increase recoveries, and this was also brought out very clearly with the keynote address that we had earlier on this morning. We need to reduce emissions, especially now on climate change issues, and also conserve forests. So our focus will be how do we enhance supply of the forest products and the efficiency of processing and value addition, and how do we protect also the local manufacturers. And in supplying, the increase the supply is that we look at farm forestry, dryland forestry, and diversifying the species. Efficient processing, we need incentives for investment. We need to increase also the value addition while protecting the local manufacturers from cheap standard imports. The challenges in the timber industry, the timber sector, is that we can see disparities in logging and outputs, where we have the cost and safety, we have the mechanized logging, where we have manual logging, you can see that. And here as well, there's also the lift and carry. Efficiency, where we can increase the outputs, and also safety is where we have the wood misers on the left, and also a framed chainsaw that we can be able to use, that's being shown also on the right. So challenges in this timber exert is that we see shortage in raw material, partly due to moratoriums. We're also looking at high timber prices for timber products from imports, the dilapidations of existing investment and loss of employment. We've seen that in the recent past, and the slow growth of the sector. So that is timber that's been imported from either DRC or Tanzania. And the picture in the middle, you can see these are treated poles that have been already infested with termites, and they have failed. Then another challenge that we have in the timber sector is the non-adherence to set standards. You know, we have compromised on the standards and their durability, costly replacements, and also inflated service charges. So the building here, you can see there are also some cracks that you can see there. So to enhance supply of forest products and maintain surpluses in future, one is through promotion of efficient timber processing technologies. One way is using the frame chainsaw system, and this is used on farms. We've seen that many people use freehand on the power saw. And when you use a freehand on the power saw, you'll find the size of timber at the beginning of your sawing to the end will not be the same. The surface would be either very rough, and also you'll have lost quite a bit of into sawdust. So with a frame chainsaw, this increases timber recovery from 23% using freehand to 56%. And also the quality of the timber is enhanced, and also this minimizes accidents. The other one now with the mechanized one is the narrow bandsaws used at industrial level, and we have recovery rates of over 60%. To enhance the supply of forest products, mainly to maintain surpluses again, is also through promotion of timber lamination and lamination of thinnings and timber that could not ordinarily be used as structural timber. When you laminate timber, either glue lams or cross-laminated, you've increased also the mechanical strength of that particular member. And then lamination of timber waste to make composite products, you have added value to pieces of timber, and you can see some of them being exhibited out there. We can promote value addition again also through charcoal briquettes from forestry and agricultural wastes. And a lot of agricultural waste in Kenya, mainly from horticultural food crops, industrial crops, livestock, and also fisheries. And these are opportunities that we can be able to harness and make a briquette, because this country is still very dependent on biomass energy, both at domestic level and industrial level. Various innovations available for briquetting, where we have either carbonized or non-carbonized briquettes, and there are a number of briquetting enterprises in the country so far. We are also training enterprises to be able to do that. In regard to non-wood forest products, currently there's a high and increasing global demand for bioproducts and nutraceuticals derived from non-wood forest products. The market for bioprospecting is about $8 billion worldwide. The key non-wood forest products in Kenya are gums, resins, aloes, indigenous fruits. And some of them, you will have seen them at the Expo. And the potential for the gum arabic and gum resin production in Kenya is about 10,000 metric tons and 8,000 metric tons respectively. Kenya is the third largest exporter of resins, which include myrrh, haga, and frankincense. And these are some of the processes. The top one, you have gum arabic. And once you process it, because it's a stabilizer, either in the food industry or the pharmaceutical industry. So it's used in the food industry, especially even in juices. Locally, you'll find it. Myrrh, the myrrh essence oil, that is very expensive actually. It's one of the most expensive of all the gum resins. Aloe products, there are about 60 species in Kenya, and 5 of them are commercially exploited for cosmetics and medicines. Planting, harvesting, and trade in aloes in Kenya is managed by the Kenya Wildlife Services, and they provide appropriate licenses. The aloe gum is exported mainly to China or Saudi Arabia, where you find it's almost $2 to almost $3 per kilo, depending on the quality. And the local middlemen will sell aloe gum to small-scale soap manufacturers or small-scale aloe cosmetic product manufacturers. And these are some of the products that you can see being shown. There's a soap there, and also liquid soap, and that's how they cut the aloe, where we teach them on how to sustainably cut, because what happens is that without training, they would cut all the leaves off, and that also affects regeneration. So usually you just start from the outside and you leave it to grow to produce more leaves for you to harvest the next time. Indigenous fruits is another product that we can be able to make a business out of. Fruits are essential nutrients as well as a source of income. Over 400 species of fruit plants in Kenya, and actually in East Africa. We have, I think, the highest variety of fruits, indigenous fruits. We have 7 indigenous fruits in Kenya, and the order of preferences are tamarind, the baobab, Zimenia americana, Carissa edulis, amongst others. And these fruits may fetch a paltry income when you're selling them the way they are. However, when value added, they'll be able to fetch nearly 10 times than when you're selling it as a raw fruit. And for instance, a baobab fruit, we have a company called Ubao. We were able to incubate them some few years back, almost 5 or 6 years ago. And what people usually know the baobab fruit for is a candied baobab fruit, mabuyu in Kenya. But then when you process the baobab powder, the white powder that you're seeing around the seeds, it has one of the highest vitamin C's known in any fruit, higher than the orange. And then the seed kernel, when you break it, it has processed baobab seed oil, which is high in vitamin E and used in cosmetics, highly valuable oil. The Sclerotia birrea marula fruit is also another indigenous fruit. Most people know about the wine or called the amarula. But then the fruit, you can process it into a jam, a fruit juice, and also the kernel, again, you can also get oil, which can make the oil itself or even a moisturizer. Tamarindas is a well-known fruit, and there are many more products that can be made out of this. And what the farmers were doing, they would be able to sell it, but we are now seeing these products in the market. The tamarind juice, processed actually and packaged, tamarind jam, and also even a tamarind sauce that you can use even on your barbecues. In countries out there, even the hard kernel, the hard husk, is actually even processed and used as a scrub. So that's also another area that we can get into. So you can actually use the whole thing for you as an investment. What are the untapped opportunities? I've talked about the glulam and the cross-laminated timber, whereby we don't have to wait for the timber to mature 20, 30 years. But if we're looking at even thinnings that we can laminate and cross-lamination and make beams that can be used for building. Right now, even we are having conversations about making timber houses. Toothpicks, and the glue lamps and the cross-laminated can also come from timber and also bamboo. Toothpicks is also something else from timber byproducts and also from bamboo. Do you know we import so much toothpicks from out of the country? Matchboxes are also some things that we can get back to. We used to have them before, companies that were making this. Essential oils, we have eucalyptus oils and also leleshwa oils. The leleshwa plant, which grows wildly in a lot of ranches, this is also something that we can use to make medicinal products. In conclusion, there are several challenges of the value chains that can be broadly classified as technological, resource availability, that is really a key issue, human resource capacity, do we have people who can be able to actually do this, the high investment costs, competition for imported products, and also financial constraints. These are some of the things that we need to actually tackle for this to be for you to be able to make an investment into these products. Poor market linkages. We have people who have the raw material. How do they get the market? We have a question like that, especially on bamboo, that we are trying to sort out. Inadequate policy and legal framework. I know even the CCF from KFS was able to talk about also policy frameworks, and even the director's keynote speech at the beginning. These are issues that we need all to sort out and see how best to get into this. Creation of knowledge management system for collection, for storage and sharing of information on forest product value chains is critical. Development of bioenterprises should be enhanced through 1. A regular resource assessment and mapping to ensure sustainability. So, and this can be done cyclic, every 3 or 5 years, so that then we are able to support the industry. Continuous support in bioprospecting for new resources, and especially with now the diseases that we are all battling with. There's the cancer, there's the COVID, and perhaps all the plants that we have here could be cures for this. Enhancing capacity on business identification and development. So we need to work together. We've seen banking institutions or financial institutions that should be able to come and help make business cases out of it and some of the innovations that we are having. Analysis of the various value chains is important. Is it viable, and how can we get about it? Setting stage for producer/user groups to develop bioenterprises is also important. We need to strengthen also the producer groups. We are having at least enterprises who are able to help people come into cooperatives and market chains for equitable benefit sharing, so that the people can continuously plant these trees. Because if we want to attain the 10% tree cover, people have to find a financial benefit for doing this. We need to build their capacity on financial management and also creating market linkages of the products. Sustainability of resource base should be enhanced through promotion of plantation development, integrated harvesting and efficient processing of the products. enhance capacity of the producers, processors, traders, and other stakeholders in the value chains on sustainable harvesting, post-handling, especially if you're thinking you're dealing with aloes and fruits, that's something that we need to look at, value addition and marketing, and lastly, development of relevant policies and regulations to enhance the value chain's development.